Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with a walkthrough for the Grand Cosmos, the newest dungeon that was just released on patch 5.1 of Shadowbringers for Final Fantasy Online. It is a level 80 dungeon with an item requirement level of 430 to enter, and it drops level 445 gear. Now, this will consist of your typical trash mob pools and 3 bosses, and at the beginning of the level, basically you'll just have to deal with some pretty decent heavy-hitting enemies, nothing that really throw any earth-shatteringly difficult new mechanics at you. So just go through here. If you need to take it slow, take it slow. If you're in a group of heavy beast hitters, you can do a big pull with these guys. They do kind of limit the area for you to burn them down as you go through, so you can't like pull them all the way through to the end and burn them all down as a group. But just beat them down and you'll be down to your first boss and no problem. Your first boss battle of this new dungeon is against the Seeker of Solitude. He has several mechanics, but none of them are really that difficult. I'll walk you through them. First up is Shadow Bolt, the standard issue tank buster. Just heal through it and you'll be fine. Next up is a move known as Immortal Athema. This is a room-wide AoE that cannot be avoided, just heal through it. Next up is what I call a trifecta move. This is known as Tribulation. These dark circles will randomly be placed around the arena, and make sure don't to touch them, because after this there'll be a move he'll do called Dark Shock, where 3 players have giant AoEs placed underneath them. You want to space out so they're not overlapping and touching to avoid eating too much damage. At this point, the brooms on the outside of the arena will activate and move from one side of the arena all the way to the other side. Now, if you get touched by these, you'll get a knockback and a debuff. And what will happen is they will go, and once they make contact with one of those Dark Circle Tribulation AoEs on the floor, they will activate it by doing a big circle sweeping motion, and you'll want to avoid taking damage by being near those when they go off. Now, generally speaking, after he does that move, then he'll do a move known as Dark Pulse, which is a split damage AoE. When you see the little icon, just stack with the rest of the people to avoid eating too much damage. Now, he will keep repeating these moves till give or take about 50% of his life. Then what he'll do is he'll add another AoE on all players right after he casts Tribulation. But other than that, that seems to be the only moves this guy has. Just watch out for Shadow Bolt, which is your standard issue tank buster, Immortal Athena, which is a room-wide AoE that cannot be avoided, Tribulation with the Dark Circle AoEs he places on the ground, followed by Dark Shock, then the brooms crossing from one side to the other, and Dark Pulse, the split damage AoE. As long as you watch out for these moves, you'll be able to beat down the Seeker of Solitude and get onto your next set of trash mobs. Alright, your next set of trash mobs are really nothing out of the ordinary. You just go through this really beautiful area as you go and you kill these guys. There's not really that many of them at all. You can actually pull a large group of them together in this area and burn them all down to save a little bit of time. They're, like I said, no real mechanics you have to pay attention with here. Just burn these trash mobs down as fast as possible and get on to your second boss battle of this new dungeon. Your second boss battle is going to be against Lenin Sith. This character's got some unique mechanics, and I will walk you through them. First of all is your standard issue tank buster. It's called Storm of Color. Just heal through it, you'll be fine. The next move is known as Ode to Lost Love. That is a room-wide AoE that cannot be avoided. Just heal through it. Next up is the main mechanic, is Direct Seeding, where you'll see the ground light up almost with green squared floor areas, and then they'll drop these giant seeds in the green areas. What you want to do is pick up these seeds and move them and drop them in an area that's not green to avoid them turning into ads and creating a possible wipe. At the end of the move that's called Gardener's Hymn is when they will hatch. As long as you keep them out of the green areas, you'll be fine. Next up is a move called Ode to Far Winds, which the whole area is covered in this giant AoE circles, and there's only a couple spaces where you can stand safely. At the same time, all players will get a giant AoE circle underneath them. Just stand in an open area without overlapping with the other players to avoid taking too much damage, and you'll be fine. Next up is a move called Ode to Fallen Petals. This generally happens right after Ode to Far Winds, where a giant giant donut-sized AoE will appear underneath the boss. The only safe spot is to get directly underneath the boss, because that's the only area that's open that'll avoid taking any sort of damage. Now, give or take, he'll keep repeating these moves till about 50% health. And this time, when he does the move direct seating, you'll see these arrows that will appear on the ground. And what they represent is basically, once this move goes off, anything that's in a, quote, block, one of the square areas, will move in that direction of the area 1 block. You'll want to pick up and move the seeds to where once this move activates, they will move and land in a ungreen block to avoid them hatching. As long as you do that, that's basically the only mechanics of this boss you'll have to deal with. Is Storm of Color, which is the Tank Buster. Ode to Lost Love, which is a room-wide unavoidable AoE. Direct Seeding, where you'll have to pick up and move the seeds to avoid putting them in a green area. Ode to Far Winds, where the whole area is covered with giant AoE circles and you'll have to stand in an area that's not affected to avoid taking too much damage. Ode to Fallen Petals, which happens after Ode to Far Winds, where it's a giant AoE donut attack that you'll have to stand directly underneath the boss to avoid taking damage. And like I said, as the battle progresses, it'll add those arrows that move things during the Dark Seeding move. Other than that, that's the only mechanics with this guy, and you should have no problem in beating him and getting to your third and final set of trash mobs. Now, the final enemies that you fight before the third and final boss really aren't that difficult. You'll go to each room and you'll just have to attack and beat them down fairly easily. They do hit kind of hard once you get near the end because they have like these paintings that come to life and the guys jump out and attack you. But other than that, you should be able to burn through them no problem and get on to the final boss of this dungeon. Alright, it's time for your final boss battle of this new dungeon. It will be against the guy known as the Insatiable Flame, Lugus. Lugi? I don't know, but he's a flame guy, and he's got some pretty interesting mechanics that at first might throw you for a loop until you understand what they are. Just follow what I say, and you'll be able to beat this guy no problem your first time. Now, first up is a move known as Scorching Left, where his whole left side of the arena will be attacked in a giant room-wide AoE. Whenever you see him charging up for Scorching Left, get to his right side and you'll be fine. The next move he'll do is known as Otherworldly Heat, where he will place these fire icons over top of you, and what you want to do is space out on the arena floor, because after they detonate and hurt you, these plus-shaped fire lines will shoot out as well. So you have to pay attention to where you place them and the other players' placement as well, to avoid not only the first part of it, but once the fire lines go off, you can be hit by the secondary attack. Next up is a move known as Captive Bolt, which is your everyday tank buster. It hits pretty hard though, and I have had it where he's actually targeted other people other than the tank with this, so be careful. Next up is a move known as Mortal Flame, where everyone will get a blue icon over top of them, and after an amount of time, it will detonate and cause a blue flame to start killing you and burning you alive. What you need to do is go to the outside of the arena and touch one of the inanimate objects that's around the arena that has a mark on it, like a bench, a piano, chandelier, whatever will allow you to get it off of you and to get it to burn that item, because if you don't, it will eventually kill you no matter what. Next up is a move known as Fire's Domain, where he will place an icon over your head representing what number he's going to attack you in, and he will attach a tether to the person he's about to attack. Move to the outside of the arena, because once he actually lunges for you to do his attack, he will do a move called Fire's Ire, which is a frontal attack. If you pull him all the way to the corners of the arena, it'll make it to where no one else will have to dodge his attacks, and then he'll go from 1, 2, 3, and 4. As soon as you see that and you see you have a tether, move to an outside corner away from the other players, and then after he zips to you, get out of his way and you'll be fine. The only other move he does is something known as Culling Blade, which is a room-wide AoE. Just heal through it and you'll be fine. And that's all the mechanics of this final boss. You have Scorching Left, where the whole left side of him will be engulfed in a giant room-wide AoE. Otherworldly Heat, where he will have fire lines that detonate after he sets AoEs out from underneath you. Captive Bolt, which is the tank buster. Mortal Flame, where you'll get a blue icon over your head and you'll want to go to an object somewhere in the arena and get that caught on fire instead of you to survive. Fire's Domain, where you will get an icon over your head telling you when he's going to attack you. Get to the outside corner of the arena and avoid his follow-up attack, Fire's Ire. And Coaling Blade, a room-wide AoE, just heal through. As long as you pay attention to these moves, you'll be able to beat the insatiable Flame Lucas and beat this dungeon and maybe get some sweet gear along with some neat story cutscenes. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. Hit the bell icon to stay updated whenever I release any new videos. Hit the thumbs up if this video helped you in any way at all. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot. And I always end my videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember people, the devil is in the details. Peace out.